Welcome to the Young Pro Show. My name is David, and our guest here with us is Camila Bousquet. She's a young entrepreneur, fashion consultant, and she is winning at life. So we brought her here today to share some value with you guys on how you could begin to take your dreams to the next level. Camila, why don't you start off by just sharing a little bit about yourself, just a quick rundown about who you are and what brings you here today.
All right, well, first off, thanks, David, and the Young Pros for having me on the show. And thank you for the audience as well. You guys have taken time out of your busy schedules to watch a video in order to better yourselves. I think that's a big step up. I'm Camila Bousquet. I'm a social entrepreneur. I started in entrepreneurship through a different perspective. All I knew when I was growing up is that I wanted to help others. Those are values that have been synced in me since I can remember. My parents have always done everything to help the world. And so when it came time to choose a career, I wanted to become a paramedic for a very long time. I started a program in college, in high school, that had some college classes, and it was called Focus 911. That program taught me a lot about self-discipline, as well as pushing myself towards my goals at all times. It was very physically exhausting. We used to run 5 to 10 to sometimes 15 kilometers a day, and that's where I got a lot of my self-discipline from. After a while, I started working in retail, and that had always been also something that I've been interested in. I really like fashion, and I wasn't really sure how to combine helping the world and fashion. Once grade 11 came, I had no idea what I wanted to do because I was not good in biology, but I did want to become a paramedic. It was a little bit hard. So I started just reading before I even applied to university or college. That summer, I read a book that changed my life. It's called Start Something That Matters. Pause here, I gotta go grab it.
Okay. We'll be right back on the Young Pro Show while Camila goes and grabs her book. And we're back on the Young Pro Show while Camila has her book.
So this is the book that changed my life. You may know Blake McCoskey from his company, which is Tom's Shoes. If you don't know, their principle is for every pair of shoe that you purchase from Tom's, they give a pair of shoes to a child or adult in need in third world countries. This inspired me into seeing how social entrepreneurship works and pretty much how I can make a difference with not only one life at a time, but many at the same time.
Great story, Camila. So every day, you're a fashion consultant and you're also working in the retail business, right?
Exactly.
So obviously, just like everybody else, there are challenges that you face every single day that you must overcome. So what are some challenges that you have to face every single day, and how do you go about overcoming those challenges and not letting them get you and bring you down?
Well, working in a retail space, everybody thinks you're a salesperson. However, I don't want people to think that of me. I want to have a higher level of service, and I don't necessarily want to push on clothing to people. When somebody puts on a jacket or puts on a pair of pants and their posture gets stronger, that's when I know something works. So that's when I encourage them to purchase it, or I show them how to work with what they already have in their closet, what they could add on for different outfits that could last them potentially an entire lifetime.
So what are some of the things that you must overcome throughout your day?
Throughout my day, I have to overcome the fact that people think I'm a salesperson.
Okay.
It's not the easiest task to approach everybody and being like, hey, what do you need today? What are some things that brought you into the store that you wanted to purchase? People don't necessarily answer to those questions, so it's hard to crack them down at first, but I just stick around. If I see them picking up a blue shirt and a second and a third, then I get a clue that they want a blue shirt. So I try to look at their body and assess their needs and their lifestyle, and from then on I recommend the best fit, the best color or tone that will work for them.
It's really interesting because this goes to not only, fashion or retail, but to really any business in general when you're making sales. And regardless of what industry you're in, you're going to have people that are going to look at you as salesmen to what you're doing and what you're trying to get into. But when you act from a place of transparency, and when you act as a place from you only want to bring value to the people that you're speaking to, and you only want to bring value to the people that you're quote unquote selling to, then there ends up to be a transition from this whole you are a salesman to I am somebody that is helping the other people that are around me. So I know you consider yourself somebody who is always going out to help the people around you. Where did that come from? Have you always felt the need to help people around you, and where did that begin for you?
I mean, it's something that I've always had within me. My parents worked for ONGs for the most part of my life. So we always had people come internationally to our home, and I've always been involved with what my parents did. I'm an only child, so naturally I'm very close to my parents. And everything they did, I admired. I admired everything that they did because they came and so selflessly helped everybody around them. And not just at a local point, because they also do that. They volunteer locally, but they brought that internationally. So that's another thing that brought me into entrepreneurship, is that being a paramedic, you don't necessarily travel, specifically not during your first years. And I've always had this craving in me that I want to explore the world. Once I read this book, I realized that, I can travel, I can help others, and I can do I can follow my passion, which is fashion.
Right. And we're beginning to notice a trend happen across our world today where more and more entrepreneurs are starting to come out where their focus is helping other people. And they're looking for ways that they could create themselves an income by helping other people. Now, there is still this old paradigm where people who, if you are helping somebody in business, that helping and business are two separate things. That if you are helping somebody and say you're in a nonprofit center where maybe a sector, well, maybe you're not necessarily going to get the amount of income that you would if you were running a corporation that might not necessarily be directed into helping people. What do you think about that concept? Do you think that you could tie them both together, that you could be an entrepreneur and still bring as much value while you're making yourself financially free and making your dreams happen?
Definitely. I started studying entrepreneurs once I started studying business management and entrepreneurship, and I realized that not many very successful entrepreneurs have only one stream of income. That's when I started studying into what's passive income, what are different ways of income that can just generate more money as they grow, and what are assets that can bring me money personally. I've always valued giving my time more than giving my money, so I don't necessarily want to be a millionaire. I just want to be able to create sufficient funds to help me survive while I go help out the world.
So you're looking for a way to bring your passion and help make the world a better place while being able to sustain yourself financially.
Exactly.
Did you get some of those philosophies and those principles from this book right here, Start Something That Matters?
Yes and no. He shows us how to create somewhat of a passive income. Starting a company is hard work during a long time, and eventually you have a turnover where you retail your product in so many different stores that you don't necessarily need to be there. You have other salespeople that are selling it for you. So that's a sort of passive income, which I like because I love products. However, I figured that the fashion designing market is very saturated, so I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be another competitor fighting to have my designs on the racks. That's why I work with what's already in the market. I don't create my own clothing. I work alongside other designers during fashion shows, photo shoots, marketing promotions, whatever it may be. But I like putting outfits together and making them work for different body types. I have a funny quote for you. What is the purest fruit in the world?
A pomegranate.
No,
Oh,
but close.
damn.
An apple.
Okay.
Apple has been seen in the Bible multiple times.
I was gonna be my first guess.
You almost had it.
I was
Can't
like,
blame
I was
you.
like, it's too obvious. It must not be that one.
It's all good. You'll get it next time. But apples are all different shapes, sizes, and colors. So, what makes an apple so delicious is that it concentrates on itself to grow and to, be good and be juicy and whatnot. And so I relate humans back to apples, where we're all different shapes, sizes, colors. And so we need to know what works for us, what nutrients we need in order to be that delicious apple.
Right, and if we could work on ourselves and only focus on what is within us rather than what is outside us, because it doesn't matter if the apple is a different color, it doesn't matter if the apple is a different shape. The apple is still going to be a juicy apple, right? And we need to work on what is inside of us to ensure that we are the juicy apple, and to ensure that we're able to be ourselves rather than focusing on our exterior, focus on our interior. And I know that was something that we had talked about previously, where you love bringing out that confidence within people, and you love being able to show them that it is not their outside that matters, but it is their inside that matters, and it matters who they are within them. So what would you say to the audience, to the people that are watching this video right now who are maybe experiencing some self-lack, who are not as confident as they want to be? How could they bring that confidence out of them?
Stop wanting what other people have. Realize what you have and make the most out of it. Don't think that if you're not skinny, you can't wear certain things, because you're going to find a way or another to rock it. And, posture is a big thing as well. That's something that has been taught to me since I was little. I used to do ballet classes, and posture releases confidence. When you have a straight posture, you appear more confident to others, and so others approach you more easily. Again, focus on what you have. If you don't have the most beautiful hair, find a way to make it work for you. Get a haircut, treat yourself here and then. We're all made different. Why should you stress about wanting to be somebody else? You have it all within you.
Well said. So one, don't compare yourself to other people. You don't have to see other people for where they are and think that you have a lack because you're not that person. You can look within yourself. Two was you can treat yourself. Now, that was three. What was the second thing that you said?
Treat yourself here and then. Just, indulge in a manicure or whatever. It doesn't need to be all the time, but sometimes you have to do it. You have to spend time with yourself to understand who you are.
Right.
And that's a big thing that people lack nowadays. They're just always on their phone whenever they're alone, and if they're not with people or on the bus, they don't interact with themselves as much as we used to before technology. And that's something that we need to do. We're human beings. It's something that has been around for ever. So why would we stop now that we have cell phones?
Amazing. So don't compare yourself, treat yourself, and look at who you are rather than the people that are around you. I want to know, I'm really interested in this book because I haven't read it yet. So I'm really curious about, one, whether I should, which I know you
Yes.
want to give it to me, so I should. But what are the top, let's say, 3 tips that you can give the audience from this book right here, from Blake Mycoskie? Is that how you pronounce his last name? Blake Mycoskie. What is some value that you can give to them from this book?
Is that you don't need everything or to have it figured out to get started. The biggest step is taking action, and a lot of people forget that. They think that, oh yes, I have a great idea, but will it work? You don't know if it'll work unless you try it, so why not start? Another thing that this book taught me is that it changes you completely when you give selflessly. It doesn't mean, it's very hard to explain this for me, but it's not, when you give, you receive. It's all a cycle. If you give or do good to others, people are going to do good to you. Sometimes people get lost in the world of, oh, this happened to me, and this happened to me, and I'm so unfortunate because all these things happened to me. But they don't realize that it's a wheel. It's a hamster wheel. And then they get trapped, and then they trip, and they fall. And they think their life is over. But it's not. if you keep the momentum going and you start doing happy things, and no matter what gets in your way, you just keep going, eventually you're gonna receive. And you're gonna receive a lot at the time if all your energies are put towards giving onto others, spending time with others, creating content, quality, and delivering to others. It's all gonna come back to you eventually. You just have to be patient.
Awesome. So 1, don't be afraid to start. 2, give back to others and give selflessly. What is the third tip that you can give from the book?
The third one, don't think that if you're working at a company, you can't start something else. As I said, millionaires have multiple streams of income, and it's for a reason that they do that. If plan A fails, you have a plan B, perhaps a plan C, and even better if you have a plan D. A lot of times, things happen in people's lives, and their health is not all there for them to keep going at their daily job. So it's always good to have a plan B, because otherwise you don't have an income. And then you get unhappy, and then, it's, again, cycles.
I heard a quote from Jim Rohn that I think will resonate with you and the audience with what you just said, which is that you must start on your dreams part-time while you're working on your work full-time, and then as you work on your dreams part-time, eventually your dreams will take and become full-time. And I think this resonates with all the students, especially that are out there, because you may not be in a place where you could start your business full-time. And that's okay. In fact, you don't even want to do that. You may not be in a place where you could just do everything that you want to do right now, but focus on getting that income right now by having another job, and then start your dreams part-time. And as your dreams transition and as you work towards your dreams, eventually you will be able to take that full-time. But there's never a need to hold resistance in the fact that you have a job that you don't necessarily enjoy. You can always find the things about the job that you do enjoy, but never stress on that. Just know that your dreams are eventually going to be able to be full-time while you continue to make that happen.
Yeah, and to add to that point, it's not necessarily that you hate your job, but, I love my job. I'm probably biased to it, but I work at the most beautiful store in Ottawa, at Nordstrom. And I found it's a lot easier to work there when I'm there part-time, because I can be there and focus and give it my all, and then go work on other things and other plans. It's what I like doing. I love selling clothing, and I love putting outfits together. So I don't think I'm going to leave anytime soon. However, I have to find other ways to myself to be able to grow. I have to stimulate my environments as much as I can to be in control and to be happier in the store and everywhere else.
Amazing. I love the passion that you bring out whenever you're speaking. You can know that Camila Bousquet is passionate about what she's doing. So Camila, really closing things off here, I just want to know what value that you think that you could bring to the people that are out there right now. What is something that they need to keep in their head that they can keep and will help them make their dreams happen today?
A quote that really resonated with me is, Beyonce has the same amount of hours in a day as you do. So why aren't you her?
Okay, all right. I absolutely love that, because we do have the same hours as every single great person in the world. Why don't we look at that and say, okay, well, maybe the person that is doing all those great things is doing things a little bit differently than us. And maybe we could change it and take advantage of the hours that we have and make it a little bit better. We were talking before about how you shouldn't compare yourself to others. However, you can compare yourself in the sense that you can look at somebody else, see what they've done, and because of that, know that you can do it too. Camila, what are some closing words that you could leave with the viewers that are watching the Young Pro Show today?
Get started.
Okay, you heard it here on the Young Pro Show. Get started. Guys, remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and stay updated with the next episode of the Young Pro Show. Take care.
Bye.